Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into something that probably keeps you up at night if you're even thinking about buying a house. Is it actually, like the best financial move, that whole American dream thing, owning your place and all that?
Yeah, the huge question. Huge financial implications.
Yeah.
And everyone's got an opinion. It's so deeply ingrained, right? Like owning a home is the path to wealth, to stability. You hear it from your family, you see it in movies, even the government's got incentives.
Oh, totally. It's like every parent's like, ugh, renting, you're just throwing money away. But we dug into some research and it really challenges that. You might be surprised. We're looking at decades of data. This study, it's called, hold on, I've got it here, Buy versus Rent. Lessons from over 30 years of buy versus rent decisions. Is the American Dream Always Wise? It's by Eli Baracha and Ken Johnson.
Right. And the fascinating thing is, they found that this strong bias towards owning, it might actually inflate housing prices, like pushing them beyond what they're really worth.
Okay, so how does that work? How does that even happen?
It's like, imagine everyone thinks some company is going to be the next Google, right? Everyone rushes out to buy the stock. Price goes through the roof, yeah. But what if the company isn't actually that good? What if it doesn't deserve that price tag?
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but maybe built on like nothing.
Exactly. Now, think housing market. Everyone believes they have to buy no matter the cost, demand goes up. And you know what happens when demand goes up?
Prices go up, but that doesn't mean the homes are actually worth more just because they're selling for that.
Precisely. The psychological twist on the housing market, they call it. Not just bricks and mortar. It's perceptions, it's expectations.
So how did they measure this? How did they figure out if buying or renting was actually better?
They got really specific, compared what homeowners could have made selling their homes after a while
Yeah.
versus what a renter could have earned investing that same money differently. So think down payment, those monthly mortgage payments. What if that went into investments instead?
Oh, that's a really interesting way to look at it. And did they actually find that like renting and investing was better a lot of the time?
You might be surprised. They did. For a big chunk of the past 30 years, renting and being smart about investing those savings, it often beat out buying. And lots of U.S. markets, too.
Wow, that really goes against everything we're always told. But, and this is a big but, what does being smart even mean here? Like, if someone's renting, what kind of investing are we talking about?
Got to be disciplined. And just to stuff it in a savings account. We're talking actively investing it. Stocks, bonds, those mutual funds. And reinvesting the earnings, making that compound growth work for you.
So it's not luck, it's having a plan and sticking to it.
Exactly. This research isn't saying owning a home is bad. But we need to be real about the money side. For some people, renting and investing, that might be the smarter move, financially speaking.
Okay, so this really challenges the whole American dream idea, right? But before we get too deep into their findings, something else really jumped out at me. Buying a home because you just assume the price will keep going up.
Yeah, that's a big one. And risky. It's tempting, right? Seeing prices climb and thinking, gotta get in now. But the market, it's like a roller coaster. What goes up?
Comes down. And then you're stuck, right? Owing more than your house is worth. Not good.
Exactly. And that's what happens when you only look at recent trends. They call it extrapolative expectations. It's like if your buddy made bank on some stock because it went up for a year, you're going to bet everything based on that.
Probably not. You'd want to know more, like how's the company doing overall, what's the market like, all that.
Right. Same with houses. Just because your neighbor got lucky selling high doesn't mean you will. Lots of other stuff matters.
And this is where, like, where you live matters, right?
Uh-huh.
The study looked at different regions because we all know the national housing market, it's not all the same.
Totally. 23 major metro areas they looked at to get specific. Because location, location, location. Like they found some Midwestern cities, prices are usually more stable, lower increases.
So you wouldn't need your home's value to, like, double overnight to make it worth it. But what about those pricier areas? Like, I'm thinking San Francisco, that whole Bay Area.
Good example. Those markets with sky-high prices, renting and investing often did better. Even with the extra costs homeowners have. Taxes, repairs, all that.
So even though the American dream story is everywhere, it plays out differently depending on where you are.
It shows you can't just assume your friend in Austin flipping houses, that might not work where you live. Different markets.
Okay, this is making a lot more sense, but before we go on, gotta ask. The study's data, it stops in 2009. That's like forever ago. How much can this even tell us about today?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? Like, what does this even mean now? I mean, the study even says back in '09, low interest rates were changing things. Maybe buying was making more sense again. Who knows?
Right, and since then. It's crazy. We've had those record low rates, then the pandemic messed everything up, now inflation's here. It's a whole different world out there.
Makes it impossible to figure out,
There are
right?
no easy answers
Yeah.
anymore. But that's why this study is still important. Even without the last 15 years of data, it's like it teaches you how to think about this stuff.
So instead of just doing what everyone else does, or assuming things about owning, we should think like investors. Exactly. What are your goals? What's your risk tolerance? All that.
Hmm.
Owning comes with responsibilities. Renting's more flexible, which matters more to you.
Yeah.
And where you are matters too. Like we said, Miami's not Minneapolis. Got to do your homework on that.
For sure. This is where a good financial advisor, someone who knows their stuff, that's invaluable. They can run the numbers, look at different situations, help you make the smartest choice for you.
This has really made me rethink this whole American dream thing. It's not just buy a house, watch your money grow, huh?
Nope. It's way more than that.
Being informed, that's what I'm taking away from this,
Yeah.
no matter what you end up doing.
100%. Buying, renting, doesn't matter. If you understand what's going on, you're in a better place to decide. Good for your financial future and all that.
So to wrap this up, one last thing to think about. We know markets go up and down, rates change, places are different. Where does that leave us now with this whole renting versus buying thing? Something to ponder. Until next time, keep digging deeper, keep asking the good questions.